I want to talk for a moment about the ideas of what it means to be a bodhisattva or a bodhisattva. I was first introduced to this idea in 2005, 2006 when I started to get into meditation and Zen Buddhism and started studying Buddhism in general, looking at the Theravada schools and Mahayana schools. So in the Mahayana school, the idea of a bodhisattva is somebody who chooses to sort of put off their own enlightenment in order to save all sentient beings. Not as they're a savior or they're the one or anything like that, but basically the idea that each of us decides at some point, I'm going to choose a more enlightened path, I'm going to have compassion, and I'm going to pursue this path. And so we start to take those steps. And somewhere along the way, certain individuals decide, you know what, I want to devote my life to helping everyone find this answer before I choose to just go on to my own bliss. I wanted to explore this concept as it relates to activism and the modern Western world, because I feel as an activist, one of the reasons I haven't gone off to the land and gone to live in some sustainable community or an intentional community and just said, screw the rest of y'all, is because I care and I want other people to care. I feel like if we all just choose to act, some would argue selfishly, and save ourselves and go away, for one, the problems aren't going to go away. You will definitely you may achieve a relaxed, I wouldn't say enlightened state of mind, but in the end, you're ultimately just ignoring the problems by trying to run away from things. And I feel like as activists, we can choose to say, I want to find the most freedom that fits my life, my mind. I want to start in my mind and start in my heart and make myself as free as possible. And after that, I feel like some of us, myself included, come to the conclusion that what good is freedom if we're doing it alone? I've more and more been reminded that my idea of freedom and what my ideal society could look like, or even just a better way forward, it includes other people. More and more I understand that until we're all free, then I don't think any of us are free, you know? And the idea of bodhisattva has sat with me like that for quite a bit, where I felt like if I'm going to pursue spiritual enlightenment, political enlightenment, activism, meditation, all these different things, I want to spread these great ideas. And obviously not everyone's going to, come to them the same way I will. We all come to the answers in different ways, but I think it's important for us as a human community to decide that, hey, we're all going to be bodhisattvas. Let's just decide that we're going to enlighten ourselves, awaken our own minds, and find those around us who resonate with similar messages that brought us to this information and choose to help spread it around and keep going and keep going. And as I said earlier, the matrix is composed of all of us. We can step out, we can find tunnels and ways to the real world and ways to live a more real, natural existence outside of the influence of the state. But ultimately, how can you do that knowing that your brothers and sisters are still suffering in darkness and in pain, whether that means that they're still subjected to this false ideal that government is the best way to live, or they're stuck in a place where they lack a sense of spirituality or understanding of self, a philosophical sense, what some people would refer to as zombies or sheeple. I don't like to use those words, but whatever you want to say, there are brothers and sisters of ours out there who need help. That doesn't mean that we are good and they are bad, or we're the authorities and they're not. It's not about putting things into that dualistic context. I believe that ultimately all individuals will choose to find a more enlightened path. It may look different from one person to the next, but I do believe that all people come to a point in time where their beliefs, their very idea of what reality is and how they're going to move forward is challenged. And we can decide to stay in a mode of cognitive dissonance, or we can choose to say, you know what, I'm going to have compassion, not only for myself, because I have to start with myself, I have to start as local as I can get, and that is myself, but also having compassion for those around me. So bodhisattvas take vows, basically saying that that's what they're going to choose to do. And there's variations depending on if you're looking at Mahayana Buddhism or Tibetan Buddhism, but they all tend towards that idea that bodhisattvas are somebody that decide while there's samsara, which is the cycle of life and death and suffering, that as long as that exists, they're going to continue to dedicate their lives to helping as many other people as possible. So hopefully you guys will look further into this topic, and we might end up creating more bodhisattvas in this world today. But I also have to remember to remind myself to slow down. Whatever you do for a living, whatever you do for fun, I imagine that you